Back is Takeshi Okumura against Steve Davis, the 6-time world snooker champion. We can join it in the 4th rack. Davis is 3-0 up.
Well, he's in a bit of trouble here. He made a lot of balls, but the 2 ball is down on the foot end and the 1 ball is tucked, as you can see, right behind that 7. Now the kick is fairly simple here, Jim, but it doesn't really afford a lot of advantages, and it brings a lot of risk in. However, if you push out to where the man can hit the 2 ball, you got the 9 ball sitting right there.
Ideally off 2 cushions, but whether or not he can spin that cue ball enough to get there, Jerry.
That would be ideal, to take a full hit on that 2 and leave the cue ball down there and send the 2 ball up table.
But he can push out, remember, off the break.
Yeah, but where do you push where the man can't hurt you?
Just push over near the corner pocket would be my guess. Just over in this area. Certainly I mean, there's so many options. He doesn't want to leave it where the 9 can be attacked.
Well, he's going to tie the 7 up with the 5. Well, that's an interesting push. We'll see if it pays any dividends. You can see the acute angle he has to cue this ball.
Now, would he have to have been careful about fouling there, Jerry?
Oh, sure. The double hit was in play.
I mean, that was fraught with danger, that shot. Even electing the push, a foul shot could still have been called. You have to be so confident in your cueing to play that sort of shot.
Well, he gets a chance. Steve Davis gets a chance here to make something happen. Oh boy.
And that is an unforced error. Very uncharacteristic. We haven't seen many of those from Steve all week.
He's going to be very unhappy with that. And you know, that 7-5 tie-up that he attempted is going to come back to haunt him. Okumura can play a great safety there if he can't get on the right side of the 5 to play it down table.
It all depends where he takes the cue ball on the 3. Because he could still elect, if he's got the proper angle, assuming of course that he can knock this 2 in and bring the cue ball back into this area, he may be able to attack that 5, Jerry.
Yes, he could, if he could get on the rail side of the 5 or between the 5 and the 7, or even up table with, he could take a long cut shot. The bank is also open on the 5.
Well, that option has just been taken away because he's far too straight on the 3 now. He needed to maintain angle to be able to get the cue ball over there. He's got very little with which to work now.
It looks like he's looking at the carom, 5-7 carom.
Jerry, if he wants to attack, I think he's going to draw that cue ball right back and try and play the bank shot on the 5.
I agree. That looks to be the easiest option. He could also bank that 5 and tuck the cue ball behind the 7.
But I have to say that I was assuming he could reach this comfortably. If he can't cue into that white with enough power to pull that cue ball back, and it looks like he really is stretching.
Oh, that's a long stretch. Look how long that bridge is.
Did he get it back far enough?
Well, the bank is on. Position on the 7 is a bit of a problem.
Yes, the only chance really, if he does elect to go after the bank, is to take the cue ball around the angles. He's going to have to play this with a little bit of speed.
And playing with speed, of course, shortens the angle on the bank. He'll have to allow for that.
The other option would be trying to take the cue ball into the 7. I don't know whether that's on.
He's taking a look at that carom again, but I don't like that choice. No, he's stroking a bank shot.
And he did play into the 7, pulled the cue ball back. What a great shot that was from Okumura. The shot of a former champion there.
Another look, 5 ball right dead in the side pocket. And he set up this situation where the cue ball can travel naturally 2 rails, be right in line with the 8 ball. Anytime you can keep your cue ball in line of position with the next shot, it's a whole lot easier than coming across that line. Okumura about to slide the first bead onto his side of the string. And he will be coming to the table with the break. So if he can break and finish this next rack, he'd be pulling things a lot closer.
What a terrific break that was.
Oh, and he's beautifully on the 1 ball. The 6 almost got into his life, but I think it stayed out.
I just saw Steve Davis sink back into his chair. He was right in line with that, so I think he knows Okumura is in perfect position following it. Well, what really was a textbook break. He absolutely planted that cue ball into the center of the table. Watch this. Cue ball hardly moved other than being kicked by the 7.
That's all you could ask for in a break shot.
And that takes years of practice to master that.
Well, we'll see if momentum has decided to change chairs. You know, it's so often, Jim, when a guy starts coming back on you, things get a little desperate. It's almost like he has nothing to lose, so he can play aggressively while you're trying to protect your lead.
Against the lesser player, Jerry, I'd see it, but the last thing you'll ever see from Steve Davis, believe me, I've known Steve over 20 years. I don't think he's ever spent a desperate moment in his life.
He is one cool cat.
Well, maybe on the golf course. I don't know whether or not it's been on a billiard table.
Okumura to spin this cue ball back toward him for the 3, which he can play either in the side or the corner. Well, let's see. I don't know if he doesn't have the right angle to play it in the side unless he's going to really load this thing up with right English.
I think you're going to see that. He's going to play a lot of right-hand English and just try and feather this in. He's not going to be able to get close to the 5 ball here. But what he will be able to do is just feather this in and squeegee the cue ball past the side pocket. It's going to be leaving a thinnish cut on the 5 bottom left, but he really doesn't have any choice.
Yeah, if he were to attempt to take that cue ball across the table, he could run into the 7 or wind up snookered behind the 8. That would be awfully risky. Taking the long shot here, settling for the long shot is the right call. Wow.
I can't believe how much angle he made out of that. That looked dead straight in. I want to see what he can do here because this one looks dead straight in too. Jerry, did you think he'd be able to get that cue ball on the other side of the middle pocket from that angle?
Not at all. He just taught me something. And here, if he can force this cue ball 2 rails back out to center table, he's going to show me something else.
Well, you can see he's got lots of angle. Again, from our overhead perspective, it didn't look like this was there, and he'll be able to spin this cue ball right around to get back out for the 6 here. I mean, what he just showed us with absolutely no angle, why would we think that he couldn't get on the 6 from this?
He may have enough angle here to draw out of this shot, but it looks like he's going to force it 2 rails. He has. He needs that ball to roll a little bit further for the easiest shot. If he'd been on the other side of the 6, he could have just let the cue ball drift a little bit. Again, I think he's going to settle for the longer shot and not try to make the cue ball work any miracles.
Usually a formula for success anytime you can limit the movement of the white or the cue ball in any billiard discipline. Keep it simple. Make it look like you can pass that cue stick to someone walking by the arena, and they can do the job for you.
Okumura is going to bring this thing a lot closer, and then he'll be awaiting the result of Steve Davis' break. If Steve winds up snookered on the break, this match could change complexion. Oh, now it just changed right here. He's left himself tough. He thought he would spin around that 9-ball comfortably, and instead he ran smack into it.
He's going to try and make this into the side pocket. If he misses it, it should run safe, unless he catches the far knuckle, the far jaw.
Yeah, unless he hits that jaw, he'll hit it with the right pace to leave that 9 right on the head rail. Cue ball, of course, will stay down here on this end of the table, so there'll be a lot of distance. But he wants to make this thing. He doesn't want to rely on that safety. Tough shot.
Should never be faced with a shot this difficult from the position he was in.
Well, you'll have a good view.
We'll know it's in before him, but I think he understands the significance right now. He sees the momentum from Steve. One mistake, and he would turn it right back.
It's so tough to shoot when the cue ball is close to the object ball. It's hard to see your angles. But he's made it.
That was a great effort, that one from Okumura. He made it difficult, but he made it nevertheless. Here we go with the break now, rack number 6.
The 1 ball's down. He's got to rely on position on the 2 ball.
He's got no shot on the 2, I don't think, Jerry. That 5 just came into play. He may be able to just spin that cue ball around the 5.
Yeah, but if he does, the 9 ball is sitting right there in the path of the cue ball.
And also, it affords him no position to the 3. So Steve may have no choice but to try and play safe here.
It looks to me like he's attacking this ball. Indeed, he escaped the 9-ball trap. Let's see where that cue ball winds up.
It really didn't look from our camera angle like he had enough of that 2 ball sticking out. But so many times the camera doesn't lie, does it?
There's a good look. And now he goes from one tough shot to another tough shot.
I think he's playing safe here, Jerry. Is he going for this as well? He's queuing up as though he was going to try and slice it in.
He looks like he's going for it. He's got to make that cue ball travel around the world. He's got to watch the foul here too. Pretty nice.
Is an absolutely magnificent effort from Steve Davis. Now the door wide open to try and seize this rack.
Steve Davis has such a brilliant imagination. He sees shots that other players don't see. Came a little further up table than he probably would have liked, but he has 2 pockets he can choose from. There's some young fans watching the great Mr. Davis. And he's chosen to settle for the long shot. That was a very wise choice, because really this is no shot at all for Steve, and it gives him easy position possibilities.
And there you can see Rico Dix through, and the ones eliminated in Group 13, Paul Hunter and Darren Appleton. Two local fellows that unfortunately aren't going to be playing past today.
Luis Sanchez, the Venezuelan champion, also out. But Steve Davis is in. And if he keeps playing like this, he may be more than just in. 9-ball coming at you. And Steve Davis 4-2 over Takeshi Okumura in a very comfortable position now.
What a great break he's got, Jerry.
He's just planting that white ball in the center of the table, and he's got a great shot on the 1. Positional possibilities are rampant for the 2-ball. Here's a look at that break again. That cue ball looks like he's got it on a string.
And he hits it with a lot of power. He's going to be a force in the elimination rounds. He's really going to be a force where the alternating break format will not be employed.
His biggest challenge here is the 3-ball. There are quite a few pockets denied that 3. Oh, he's missed the 1-ball. And Steve Davis comes to the table now with a chance to take this thing home. Here's another look. That 1-ball hits the knuckle and just bounces right back out onto the table. A grateful Steve Davis. And he has an easy position shot on the 3-ball from where he wound up. This changed the complexity of this game with 1 bobble.
Yes, and you really can't see Steve making a mess of this opportunity. Two in front at the moment. And as I said, this does not affect the players going through. What it will affect is the seeding going into the last 64, because the players are seeded on their performance in the round robin stages, and this will do a lot to boost Steve Davis's seeding.
So this sows the seeds for the rest of the tournament.
You don't look a lot like Sid Waddell.
I've been hanging around him much too long.
The long 5. Steve will just want to get a little closer to the 6 here. Pull back off that side cushion. Every match he plays, Jerry, he's getting a better and broader understanding of the reaction of the balls, and more importantly, the cue ball off the cue tip.
You know, I'll never forget the first year I saw Steve Davis playing 9-ball. A lot of the 9-ball players were saying, oh, he's a great snooker player, but he's no threat here. He can't handle this game. He taught them a lesson, didn't he? Steve Davis queuing up on the 6-ball. Wow, he almost got that. Was risky. That 9-ball could have trapped him and changed everything. Instead, he escaped from behind that and has a very simple out.
2 balls away from a very tidy win over a former world 9-ball champion. And I think you can count that one now.
Okumura 2, Steve Davis 5.
That's a great win, Jerry.